This garden designed by Priscilla Banda is really the epitome of what most of us have at home in terms of space. It's about 10 meters long, 4 meters deep, and most of it is surrounded by a huge wall. Imagine on the other side, that's the neighbor. So many of us end up in the position where we say, how do we deal with these large walls and how do we soften them? Well, look how cleverly this has been done. Besides using and disguising the walls, creating the raised beds, it really is quite an urban yet soft garden, combining formality and the heart of the garden with the softer lines. Really a good space, a space that you would want to sit down on the bench and enjoy. But let's take a closer look at how these very, very smart bits of landscaping design were used to create this look. Although this garden is really small, it's amazing how it's been distinctly divided into 3 different areas. As you enter the garden, you walk over the formal paving, bed on either side. Beautiful planting with scabiosa, asparagus, some strelitzias, and then, of course, a water feature in the corner, which, yes, drowns out the noise of the traffic and the people and creates your beautiful paradise. Literally, where I'm standing, we walk into the next section and feel of the garden with the pergola up above, decking underfoot, and notice that it's not just a plain square deck. You know, all of us, yes, let's do a deck, a rectangle or a square. Now, this has been used very beautifully to soften it on either side with a bit of bed, the raised wall literally opposite it, so that you can create that height and that feeling that the garden is actually around you and completely surrounding you. And then we go into the next section, which once again is mirroring the formal area of as you walked in. So raised planting, similar concept of the plants that have been used, and of course the beautiful pittosporum, which are those trees in the background, sexy bark, great plant, can grow where it's bitterly cold, and also doesn't become into a triffid. In other words, not like 30 meters tall, it's a good small garden tree. A very cool design feature, literally replicating the curve of the central area of the garden under the pergola. It's then taken out, almost what we would call the hosepipe garden. Remember when you used to lay the hosepipe out to create your garden beds? Well, here it's just been structured slightly differently, with the formal circle in the center, bringing out the curve again. And look at the height that it creates. Instead of this just being a flat bed, no, literally by creating the structures and the garden bed, so you get that height. And of course the pittosporums at the back just give you that extra feeling. Plants that have been used in here, very clever. I call these plants the millennial plants because they are incredibly tough. They're good for people who are hardworking, who spend most of their time at work and get home to only enjoy their garden a little bit on weekends. There's asparagus, there's helichrysum, this beautiful grey, and look how lovely they complement each other. Strelitzia giving us a bit of height, and then few pops of nemesia. So that would be the only colour that you would replace, literally in a 2-year cycle. Those beautiful little nemesias, they're indigenous hybrids. You can see they're also used in this pot here, and in late evening, early mornings, man, the fragrance of these guys is just spectacular. Very pretty. It really is a great selection of plants in this garden, and many of them indigenous, from the arum lilies that are here and this beautiful plectranthus. Now, I love this plectranthus. I have it all over my own garden because it's just so incredibly tough. And when it's not flowering, it gets almost a pale pinky flower. And not really grown for its flowers, but more for its incredible foliage, which it keeps this beautiful green and gold color all year round. So thus it's known as Plectranthus green and gold, or Plectranthus ciliatus gold. So ask for it at your local garden centre. It's tough, it can grow in semi-shade or in full sun, and really spectacular foliage just to bump up areas that are looking a bit drab.